Teacher Training Institute. So today we discuss with you. I have the task how to deal with criticism and use it to improve. Can I start my
Oh, nice to meet
questions?
you. Absolutely. Go ahead. I'm listening.
What is criticism
Yes, you're good.
and why do people give it?
That's a solid place to start. Criticism is basically when someone points out flaws or mistakes. It could be in your work, your ideas, even your personality. And people give it for all sorts of reasons. Sometimes it's genuinely meant to help, like a constructive nudge in the right direction. Other times it comes from insecurity or jealousy. Sometimes people just haven't thought through their own feedback properly and it's, well, not useful. What's been on your mind about this? Have you been getting feedback or trying to process, or is this more theoretical right now?
What is the difference between constructive and destructive criticism? This is my mind.
Good question.
Okay,
Okay, yeah, makes sense. Constructive criticism's the stuff you can actually use. It's specific, focuses on behavior, not the, and usually comes with suggestions for improvement. This presentation would be clearer if you included more data versus your presentations are awful. See the difference? Destructive criticism tends to be vague, personal attacks, and doesn't offer help. It feels like someone's just trying to tear you down rather than build you up. How often are you running into each one in your training and work right now?
why do people feel hurt when they are criticized?
That's a really good point to dig into. I think it hit a few things. First, most of us naturally want to see ourselves positively, right? Criticism kind of threatens that self-image. Then there's the social aspect. Criticism can feel like rejection or exclusion. And sometimes the way it's delivered can make it feel more aggressive than it is. Basically, your brain's wiring is to interpret criticism as a potential threat, even when it isn't. It's a tough thing to manage. Most people don't like getting their flaws called out, even when it's done well.
Why do people, okay, how can we control our emotions when receiving criticism?
That's a big one. I think first step is recognizing that your initial reaction, the defensive tightening in your chest, the wanting to snap back, that's totally normal. Don't fight it, just know it. I'd suggest pausing. Literally taking a beat before you respond. That buys you space to think instead of just reacting. Deep breathing can help too, cliche, but it works. Finally, try to remember the source. Is this someone whose opinion you actually value? Because if your neighbor who's just generally grumpy, maybe it doesn't sting as much.
What is the best first reaction to criticism?
Got it. The first reaction to criticism is usually defensiveness. Like I mentioned before, that tightening your chest, wanting to justify yourself or snap back. The most helpful thing to do in that moment, resist the urge to do any of those things. Just breathe and consciously tell yourself this is a normal reaction rather than getting carried away by it. That pause can make a huge difference.
Okay, how can we identify if criticism is useful or not?
That's a smart ask. First, look for specifics. The complaints that you're not good at this are red flags. Useful criticism points to actual examples and suggests what you could do differently. Second, consider the source. Is this person actually knowledgeable about what they're criticizing? Does their advice align with your goals? And third, ask yourself, does this feel like genuine help or just someone being negative? Trust your gut on that one. Feels more like an attack advice, it probably is.
What are some common mistakes people make when facing criticism?
Um, a big one is getting immediately defensive and interrupting. It shows you're not really listening, even if the criticism might have something good in it. So another mistake is personalizing it, turning this report needs more data into I'm just terrible at reports, or completely dismissing it out of hand because you don't like the person delivering it. That's letting your ego in the way. And a lot of people make the mistake of not asking for clarification. If you're not sure what someone means, ask. Don't sit there and stew in confusion.
Okay, how can criticism help us grow and improve?
That's the core of the whole thing, right? Well, if
Core the whole
you
thing.
can sift through noise, all right. If you can sift through it, criticism is basically free feedback. It shows you blind spots you might not see yourself. It forces you to reevaluate what you're doing and identify areas where you can get better. It's like it can accelerate your learning curve if you're willing to be honest with yourself about your weaknesses. Honestly, it builds resilience. The more you can handle constructive feedback without falling apart, the thicker your skin gets. And sorry, I didn't quite catch that. Could you repeat the last part?
Okay, what are some common
I was saying.
mistakes? Okay,
Some common mistakes people make when using criticism to
yes, facing criticism.
jumping to fix that. Right. Sorry, the common mistakes when using criticism to grow. I'll try to fix everything once. Pick one thing to work on at a time. Overwhelming yourself makes it less likely you'll stick with it. Another one is not actually taking action. Your feedback is only half the battle. You actually have to change your behavior. And finally, not getting follow-up feedback to see like if you've actually made progress. That's how you know you're moving in the right direction.
Should we always accept criticism? Why or why not?
That's a thoughtful question. No, not always. You need to filter it. If it's coming from someone with malicious intent, or if it's based on misinformation, or if it fundamentally clashes with your values, you're justified in dismissing it. Criticism is meant to help you grow, not make you question yourself into paralysis. Sometimes you trust your own instincts to say thanks, but I disagree with that feedback. And move on. It's about being selective and protecting your energy.
How can we ask for feedback in a professional way?
It did good timing. Actually, soliciting feedback is way better than just waiting for it to come at you. Phrase it as wanting to improve, not proving you're okay. So instead of telling me what's wrong with my work, try, I'm looking to improve my presentation skills. What's one thing I could work on for next time? Be specific about what you want feedback on. And don't get defensive when you get it. Listen first, then ask clarifying questions. That approach turns criticism into a real development opportunity.
What are some techniques to stay calm during criticism?
Beyond that first pause we talked about, mindfulness techniques can help a lot. Like really focusing on your breath to ground yourself in the moment instead of getting lost in defensive thoughts. Or mentally stepping back, imagining the feedback as objective observation rather than a personal attack. If you're really struggling, sometimes it helps to remind yourself of past successes. You've handled tough feedback before, you can handle it now. It's about having some tools ready to go before the criticism even lands.
How can we use criticism to set better goals?
Great question. If you keep hearing the same feedback across different areas, that's usually a clue to where you should be focusing your energy. Criticism can tell you where your biggest weaknesses actually lie. So instead of setting goals around random areas you think you need to improve, let the feedback guide you. If multiple people say your marketing copy isn't clear, maybe a goal around copywriting would be smart. Here's your growth actually addresses the most pressing areas for improvement.
Okay, thank you. You give me a time. The new topic we will become again. For that time, we will leave from you and you leave me. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Sounds good. That was a really productive session, Marcus. Put this into practice